But, you know, you come here and, you know, I've known you guys for 10 years, and you don't want to come up here and say something, because one little word that I've learned coming here for so long can trigger emotions, you know. So when I come up here and I'm nervous, it's for that reason. And I asked Dan if I could come up early, because otherwise I'll sit back up, you know, at the table and I'll be nervous all night. And then I probably would have fainted, and you guys would I'd be famous. But my first conference was 10 years ago. This is my 10th in a row. So I got elected as a chapter president, a board of director for Ccpoa, and I go to my first meeting. And they said, okay, we drew names for different trips that people get to go on. So they started naming off names, and they named my name off, and they said, you're going to, you know, Pomc. Oh, okay. We're going to Kansas City? Oh, hey, if you're paying, I'm going. Why not? So, you know, my dear friend Lisa Northam, who you guys know, and I'll talk a little bit about her later. Not that I'm going to go on that late, but she just told me, you know, don't worry, Mike. She had attended 3 or 4 or 5 in a row, maybe before me. She said, don't worry, I'll show you the ropes. I said, okay. But I didn't know what I was getting into. And if I get emotional, that's just me. When I thought about this, you know, speaking to you guys, I said, how can all these people come up? 10 years I've heard speeches, and you know, you guys are victims, and you get up here and speak, and I show more emotion up here than the speakers. So I, you know, being an officer, I analyze everything. I'm like, how do these people get up here and speak like that? Meanwhile, I'm at my table crying my eyes out, trying to hide it, you know, because, you know, us men, we tend to try to hide our emotions. And then, you know, it just kind of came to me. I said, you guys have to live with this every day. You guys talk about it every day, you know. So when you guys talk about it, it's your way of getting it out, but you know, you guys have lived this. For me, I'm hearing it for the first time, or I'm hearing somebody, you know, a different story, where you're like, you know, it opens up your, you know, it opened my heart, I know that. But I always wondered, how do these guys get up like this? The senator from Oklahoma last year. I mean, that was powerful. And I thought, how can he get up there and just speak it? But he lived it, you know. And for at least me and Dennis, you know, you don't want to, you know, you heard the same cliches where, you know, you'll see him in heaven. You know, there's nothing really you can say, at least for us, because we've never, you know, we haven't gone through it. But, you know, it doesn't mean that, you know, we're not, it's not in our hearts and all that. You guys are good people, really are. I got friends. I can name some states. I'll probably forget some, but you know, New York, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Ohio, Texas, Arizona, California, of course. Am I forgetting any?
Kansas.
Wisconsin, Kansas,
Illinois.
I thought I said Illinois. Alabama, there you go. And I met a couple Canadians today, so I go to my first conference, and of course Stephen Walker's there, and you guys know him. And he's our ledge, he's the head of our ledge office in Ccpoa, so he can't come all the time. But back then, he, you know, hey Mike, I'm gonna show you the ropes. You're gonna represent the organization. I said, okay. Of course, I'm not as tall as Stefan. I'm not as tan, I wish. And I don't have his James Earl Jones voice, which, you know, being a Star Wars fan, I'm kind of jealous of that. But each year, after my first year, I said, I'm coming every year. You know, I was there with Mike Jimenez. Mike kind of showed me. Mike used to be the one to come up and give speeches. And, you know, after a few of them, he said, okay, you're taking the reins. And of course, you know, I didn't have any problem with that. So, you know, fast forward 10 years, and it's like, wow, time flies. Time flies. Now, you guys all know Lisa, or most of you do. And the last 2 years she was supposed to come, but she hasn't because of the health of her husband. I'm not going to promise she'll be here next year, but being in Vegas, she's from Arizona, she will be there. Yeah, so
she will.
Hopefully she will. However, I thought about like a couple weeks ago, man, maybe I can Skype her in, you know. But then if you know Lisa, the dance would have been over, the janitor would have been cleaning up, and it would have been, you know, that would have been, you know, she would have still been talking. But so what I'd like to do is do a little video real quick, and I just want to video everybody saying hi to her if you know her, and then so I can send it to her. If she does ask how the seminars are going, and did I mess up?
I already messaged her. You two did fantastic.
Thank you. So let me, and I'm not very. I need my kid knows how to work this thing better than me. But on the count of 3,
hello, Lisa.
Here we go.
Hello,
Thank you. Now, I guess they call that a shout out. But, you know, I had to learn that from my son. But, so, after my first conference, I was committed. I told Mike, we're not doing that little pull the name out of the hat. I'm coming. And you know, and of course, you know, having been knowing him as long as I have, okay. So, last year, I bring Dennis to his first conference and Martine. So Dennis, all year, I want to come. I'm the victim's chair. I'm the victim's chair for Ccpoa, so I get to decide who's going to come and whatnot. So, you know, having gone through my first conference and feeling the way that I did, I knew what his excitement for coming to the next one. So I said, you know what, Dennis? I'll take you. I'll take you next year. No problem. However, you got to do whatever I say for the next year, or you're not coming. So, I know he wants to come next year, and I'm kind of thirsty. I want a water, Dennis. Can I have a water? Now, those of you that know me, you know I wouldn't ask for a water. So, and my first, you know, me and him talked about doing this, and I wanted to do a toast to Lisa with the video, but there's no bar down here, so that kind of ruined it, but still. And I'm gonna wrap it up, but so Stefan and me, we're still pretty when it comes to this conference and the direction that the union's going to go with in supporting you guys. We have an influence within Ccpoa. Well, Mike Jimenez, this is his last year. I don't know if any of you guys have known him. Yeah. So he's retiring, or I'm sure he's still going to be involved in the organization. He just won't be our state president. So the new president is going to be the vice president, which is Chuck Alexander. So Chuck is like a penny pincher, like, you know, any cent he wants to know why and where and what. So I was talking with Stefan, you know, a few months ago, and I said, you know, hey, they're going to still, you know, we've always given money to this organization. I said, we got to protect that, Stefan. And he said, yeah, Mike, you know. He says, you know, we'll do that. And I go, you know, let me give it some thought how we're going to do this. So I thought about it, and then I came up with something. And I called Stefan, and I said, you know what, I know how to fix it, or I know how to prevent the funds being cut. He said, what? And I said, we'll challenge Chuck. Thank you. Did I give him permission to open that? Anybody need packing later on tonight? Picking up